this moment, there is peace. There is peace in the stillness of this moment. There is peace. There is peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is love. There is love. In the stillness of this moment there is love. There is love, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is love. Oh, in the stillness of this moment I feel love. I feel love. In the stillness of this moment I feel love. I feel love, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I feel love. In the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am peace. In the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am peace. In the stillness of this moment I feel joy. I feel joy. In the stillness of this moment I feel joy. I feel joy, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am joy. I am peace. I am love. I am. I close my eyes, I open my heart, I take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat that's calling, calling, calling us to rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise. clear my mind. I'm here and now, in present time. I feel the power of 1,000 suns, lighted up the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, rise in me. I sing to you, you sing to me. Change up this noise, make sweet harmony. Come on and rise, oh rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, rise in me. Heart to heart, heart to heart, hand in hand, no turning back, onward to promised land. Do you feel the power of 1,000 suns, lighting up the dark? Oh, we rise as one. Love's calling, calling out your name. Love's calling, it's why we came. Love's calling, calling out your name. Love's calling, it's why we came. Come on and rise, oh rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me. Oh rise, rise, Spirit, rise up, rise in me, rise in me. Rise in me, rise as me.
Thank you, Faith. We'll get our slide up now so we can begin our service. Welcome, everyone, to Unity's spiritual community in Citrus Heights. And we invite our guest musician, Faith Rivera, to lead us in singing our opening song, We're All Friends Here.
Yes, aloha everyone. Yes, we are all friends, all lifting our voices this morning to get this beautiful service started. Here we go. We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk into that door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Faith. I welcome you as our returning guest musician. I wanted to share a few things about Faith. We are getting used to her being here. We're spoiled because she is really a professional musician, an award-winning musician. She's won an Emmy for songs she wrote for a soap opera. Last year, she was nominated for a Grammy. She is a songwriter as well as a performer. Her website is faithrivera.com if you want to find out more or perhaps buy some of her products. And today, this morning, she joins us from Honolulu. She is within sight of Diamond Head. She attends Diamond Head Unity because it's so much earlier in Hawaii that she can perform for our service and then wake her kids up and scurry off to another Unity church right there. It is fabulous to have you, Faith. We are so glad. And we welcome everybody who's joined us this morning, whether you are here with us on Zoom, this stay-at-home service we have once a month, or you are watching on our Facebook live stream. So we take a moment to join in prayer and to bless this day. Here in Sacramento, we are enjoying cooler weather and wonderful breezes, and it just makes you feel glad to be alive. And we take that moment into the rest of our life so that we know why we came to earth, to partake of the beauty and the pleasure herein, and to give what we've got to give for the healing of our planet. And we say, thank you, God, for everything. And so it is. Amen. And so we're going to reading our daily word now. And the word for today is joy. God's joy blesses each day of my life. What did I just tell you? God's joy blesses each day of my life. The aroma of my favorite foods from childhood brings a happy memory to mind. Hearing the voice of a dear one warms my heart. Looking upon a newborn's face for the first time evokes a feeling words can't even describe. While the giddy excitement of a child's joy may now be a memory, the joy I know today still delights me. Each day I embrace more completely the joy of knowing I am a living expression of God. God's life lives as me. God's wisdom is within me, my guide to a deeper understanding of myself and the world around me. The love I share with people who are dear to me is God's love, living in each heart and expressing as each of us. What greater joy could there be? And from 1 Thessalonians 5:16, we read, rejoice always. And the word for today is joy. And now we're going to invite Faith to come back, and I'll put up the words for our first congregational song and invite you to sing along, even though you're muted.
Yes.
I'm going to sing along. Here we go.
I promise it'll get you into that joyful mood. Let's wait for the words here. This is Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Here we go. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart, even if you sing that part. You see it's getting late. Oh, please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Come on, everybody. Put a little love in your heart. Yes. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Another day goes by and still the change just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Everyone sing. Put a little love in your heart. Yes. Put a little love in your heart. Oh, put a little love in your heart. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. Yes, I hope when you decide kindness will be your guide. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart, yes. Put a little love in your heart, yeah. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart.
Thank you, Faith. I love that song. So this slide is the way of introducing our guest speaker today for our featurette. I'm exceedingly excited about this. I met Deb at the monthly Mufon meeting, and she is the Assistant State Director of North California Mufon, which she pronounces Mufon because it stands for Mutual UFO Network. And she is here today to explain what that is and what she does. She's been an investigator for Mufon for 15 years, and that was not the beginning of her career. So I invite you to join me in welcoming Deb Rugne.
Good morning. Thank you, Carla, for the introduction. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Like Carla says, I am the Assistant State Director for Northern California Mufon. And Mufon is an organization that's been in existence since 1969. It's the largest UFO database in the world. Mufon's mission statement is the scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. Here in Northern California, we also have our state director, Ruben Uriarte, and we have 9 field investigators currently, and that includes myself and Ruben. But I also wanted to say we can always use more UFO investigators. So if anyone wanted to join Mufon and become a field investigator, they can reach out to me. I do have a website, a local website, northernCaliforniaMufon.com, and you can reach me there. My email is available there if you wanted to learn more about that. I also run like Carla mentioned, the Rockland Mufon meeting. It's every second Saturday of the month in Roseville. That location is also on the website, northernCaliforniaMufon.com. And we meet from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Round Table Pizza back room there off of Sierra College Boulevard. Now, what I wanted to say was, as far as field investigations, you don't really need any special education for this. Just a desire to want to reach out to the witnesses that do report to us their sightings or experiences that they have. And, basically you just need a working computer, because you will be having access to that database to fill out the reports. I looked at the August statistics and as usual, California leads in the reports that people make to us. And for August, it was 63 reports and followed by Texas that had 50 reports, and then Florida had 34. But most of the time, California does lead in the reporting. And I really think that because California leads in the reports is because of the large population that we have and of our weather. You know, we have really nice weather usually throughout the year. And so when people are out and about, they're outside and they are probably, it's easier for them to see something unusual in the sky because of that weather. I mean, if we were in Massachusetts or Maine, somewhere on the East Coast where the weather is a lot harsher, where there's a lot of snow, it's cold, people are not going to be outside as much. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we're always leading in reports. Now, Southern California, they have their own jurisdiction. They have their own state director, assistant state director, and their own field investigators. Here in Northern California, we actually monitor the 45 counties. In Southern California, they only have about, I think, 13 counties that they oversee, but it's a lot more concentrated in the LA area as far as population. So they do get a lot of reports. I did put out a book 2 or 3 years ago called UFO Investigator. And I wanted to write this book for a long time because I wanted to tell my story of how I felt that I became a field investigator based on an incident that happened to me when I was a kid. And that book goes into that detail. I also talk about field investigation. And chapters 3 through 6, I decided that I wanted to put in at least 30 of my close encounter cases that I have done. And I'm a very visual person, so I wanted to put in the book as much witness drawings, and some of those drawings I decided I wanted to hire digital artists to bring out detail of those drawings, of those craft that they saw. So chapters 3 through 6 are broken down into the shapes of different UFOs. And I'm very fascinated by that. Like triangles, rectangles, basic flying saucer types. There's a chapter on other shaped UFOs that are in there as well. And these are close encounter cases, meaning the witness saw these craft, these unknown craft, at 500 feet or less to them proximity. So when something is that close to you, you're going to be able to see a lot of detail. And I wanted to make these pictures in color because it really does make a difference when you're looking at something and there's different colored lights, let's say, on these craft. And I really wanted to bring those to life. So in fact, let's see. I'll just show you like one of the pictures. This was a drawing done by the witness. And I wanted to really, he did a great job of providing a sketch of this. And he himself was an artist. And I say that in past tense because he has passed since before I wrote this book. And I wanted to do this justice by hiring a digital artist to bring that to life in more of a colored picture image. And I think I'm proud of the fact that I didn't just want to have my book just be boring as far as just a lot of words. I wanted to really have pictures to show different things. And so I'm really glad that I went that route to make sure that there was visuals. And there's a lot of books out there that go into detail about things, and that's fine. But I wanted my book to really be on a personal level as well and share my experiences, my sightings, I have had a lot of UFO sightings, and some of them very close to where when I'm seeing these things, I'm shocked. I'm like, wow, I don't know what this is. And I do have other people that are with me that see this along with myself. And I live here in Rockland, so I've had several sightings here in Rockland as well. This book is available on Amazon, but I wanted to also say that if you're in the area of Sacramento, Rockland, Roseville, because Roseville is really where the meeting is, I do bring copies of my book, and you can get my book from me for $10 cheaper than what is available on Amazon. So, and I will sign it as well. I'm just wanted to say that this is a subject that has been very near and dear to my heart, because it really, there hasn't been a day in my life that I can remember that I haven't thought about UFOs, because not only am I investigating other people's sightings, experiences, but I've had multiple sightings of myself, by myself, as far as what I'm seeing. There's no doubt that these are real. And the fact that there was an incident that happened to me when I was a kid, I believe I was taken, and I ended up going to a local hypnotherapist to be regressed to find out this information, because I felt that it was being blocked. That could have been my own fear, because let's face it, nobody really wants to be taken against their will, unless they're saying like, I want to go. That's something totally different. But chapter 7 of the book does go into what I did was I had the regressions tape recorded, and then I transcribed them so that I could share what was being said between myself and the therapist. And so I'm very excited about that. As far as duties of field investigation, you get assigned these cases, and your job is to go through the report and write up additional questions that are going to help you come to a conclusion of what it's really not. I mean, like, here's the thing. A lot of people want to say, what was it that I saw? Well, we really don't know. Number one, we weren't there with you. So we tried to understand what you didn't see. I mean, was it an airplane, a balloon, a planet, a drone? This is why we ask additional questions. We want to speak with the witness. I'm probably the only one in Northern California, Mufon, that goes out on live investigations as much as I have compared to everyone else. As a field investigator, you're encouraged to go out. You don't have to. And a lot of times calling them on the phone is good enough. And then you ask the questions, these additional questions, and get a better picture of what they saw, so that you can determine if it was something identified, like I just mentioned about airplanes and balloons and everything, or if you've exhausted all that explanation, then you're left with an unknown. And basically it's unknown because even if something was seen that possibly was man-made, maybe a black budget military secret craft that we have that was probably back engineered by our scientists, I can't prove that. So I can't sit there and tell someone, oh, that was military made, man-made, or that was truly an extraterrestrial craft. There are some things that we can determine that give us the impression, but we just leave it as unknown because we can't prove one way or another.
So Deb, I think that we need folks to know that you'll be staying after the service, where we always have a time for stay and chat, and we turn off the recording and it's just us chickens. So we'll be able to ask you questions and hear more about this. But we thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And I look forward to what you've got to share later. And now we're going to invite Faith to lead us in I Am a Light.
Hmm. I love Dev sharing, and that's why I chose these songs about light. And you hear me singing songs about the sun and just really tuning into our cosmic family. So I am a light. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. And I shine. And I shine. And I shine so bright. And I shine. And I shine. And I shine so bright. Now we sing to each other, you are a light. You are a light. You are a light. You are a light in this world. You are a light. You are a light. You are a light in this world. And you shine. And you shine. And you shine so bright. And you shine. And you shine. And you shine so bright. Now we sing about we, all of us. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. And we shine. And we shine. And we shine so bright. And we shine. Oh, we shine. Oh, we shine so bright. Yes, we shine so bright. Yes, we shine so bright.
Thank you, Faith. Beautiful, beautiful song. Each week we take the time to bless the prayer requests that we've received. When we meet in person at the Sylvan Community Center, you can fill out a paper form with your prayer request and put it in the box, and our prayer chaplains will pray over it and send it on to Silent Unity. You can always email a prayer request to us, and you can always contact Silent Unity. They've been in prayer for 125 years, and they are easier to contact with each passing year with the advances in technology. You can phone them, you can get online, you can use their app, Be Unity, or you could even write them a note and send it snail mail. When you do, and when our prayer chaplains send your name to Silent Unity, it's held in prayer around the clock for 30 days continuous in the prayer vigil chapel, which you are looking at in this beautiful picture on this slide. So know that you are part of the greater unity movement, and you are being held in prayer right now and always. So join me in blessing the prayer requests that we have received at this church, as we affirm that each person has within them all they need to be happy, to be healthy, to have harmonious relationships, and to be guided each day of their lives. And so it is. Amen. So we now prepare for a time of meditation. We're going to do the safe haven meditation, which is based on the idea that if we're going to have contact with beings beyond our world, we want to be safe and we want to offer them the assurance that they are safe and welcome with us. So in this meditation, we focus on creating a place in consciousness, which is a safe haven. And so please get comfortable and join me in this meditation. And we join in consciousness and enter the upper room. So breathe deeply. Close your eyes and picture the night sky. Observe the millions of stars and suns, planets, moons, and comets that shine surrounding our earthly home, surrounding it with the wonder and the promise of what has been and what is yet to be. We are on the earth for a very short time, for our true birthplace lies in distant galaxies and unknown dimensions. If we remain open to the enchantment of nature, to the moon and stars, as well as to the rivers and mountains, if we allow ourselves to become aware of our connection with all things, then our definition of ourselves and of our world expands beyond any expectation. We are children of all that is. We are on an eternal journey of awakening into God mind. We've traveled through eons of time and vast expanses of space to this lovely green and blue planet. In our finest hour, we realize the gifts we share with all other life forms, whilst here we abide. We exude the idea of safe haven, opening our hearts and our minds to the awareness of others with whom we share God's good universe. We begin to perceive the many forms of consciousness around us, and we welcome the communion that will allow us to cross the threshold into the next level of our understanding. So rest. Let us rest in the silence, breathing the clean, crisp air as we bask in the light of the invisible stars. As we bring this time of meditation to a close, let us remember those who reach out to us, those who share our universe, and those who touch our hearts, now and forevermore. Amen.
Thank you, Rev Carla. This is a song I wrote based on the teachings of Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind and the Centers for Spiritual Living. I believe the book was called A Thing Called Life, and my song is called A Thing Called Life. Here we go. Today is the day I will change my luck. I will find 3 pennies and they'll be heads up. I will walk like a queen in my tennies and jeans, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from that magical one, I am part of this thing called life, yeah. From the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. Today is the day I'll remember to see only God, only good happening through you and me. I will not forget all the treasures due me, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from that magical one, I am part of this thing called life. From the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. Yeah, today is the day I'll be more of myself, love my skin where I've been and everyone else. No more push, no more pull, simply flow as I go, 'cause I know where I come from. From the stars and the sun, from that magical one, I am part of this thing called life, yeah. From the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life, yeah. From the stars and the sun, from that magical one, I am part of this thing called life, yeah. From the known to unseen, everything in between, I am part of this thing called life. I am one with this thing called life. I am loved, oh so loved, by this thing called life.
Thank you, Faith. God bless you, dear heart. So we're going to bring up our slides again and get ready for our Sunday lesson, which is UFOs in the Bible. I did this lesson, maybe in January of this year, but it just seemed to be so appropriate and the pictures are so good, so I decided to share it again. This is the illustration for a story that I like to tell once a year, because they won't let me tell it any more often, though I think it is very important. I got it out of a work by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and it's about an anthropologist that goes to an underdeveloped country to share with them the news that men have gone to the moon. And when she gathers the villagers together and tells them this, the villagers said, "That's wonderful. Well, how did they get to the moon?" And she said, well, they were, in a spaceship. And so she asked, "What is a spaceship?" She said, "Well, it's like an airplane, but it can leave the Earth's atmosphere." And then they asked, "What is an airplane?" She says, "An airplane's much like an automobile, but it can fly." And you know what they asked next, don't you? What is an automobile? And by the time She was able to find a symbol for anything that was familiar or made sense to them or could possibly be conceived as carrying men to the moon. The story in their oral history became that men had gone to the moon in a gourd. And this is totally relevant to what we're looking at today about UFOs in the Bible, because information can be conveyed to a human audience only in terms that make sense to them, and in so doing is often exceedingly distorted. So we begin with Moses and the burning bush. This is in the book of Exodus. And God spoke to Moses from the burning bush and told him that he must lead the Hebrews out of Egyptian servitude. Now, this is a bush that burned but was not consumed by the fire. First thing to know is that none of the people in the Bible had electricity. None of them had light bulbs. The only light they knew at night was from fire. From campfires, from the fireplaces in their homes, from their oil lamps. So when trying to describe illuminated objects, the only symbol they knew was fire. So I want you to think about a Christmas tree with all the lights lit. Do you think that perhaps a Christmas tree could be described as a burning bush? Because it burns and it is not consumed? And it's just a good example of some of the interpretation we must do mentally when we are looking at these stories in the Bible. And the next one is about the pillars of the cloud by day and fire by night. This is from Exodus 13:21. I'm going to read this slide. By day, the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to guide them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light. This is when the Israelites had left Egypt and were wandering through the wilderness trying to find the promised land. And God said, I will guide you. And by day I will appear as a pillar of cloud, and by night as a pillar of fire. Now, even in today's world, we often suspect clouds to be camouflage for UFOs. Think about the lenticular clouds above Mount Shasta. One of the first things I learned about Mount Shasta is that we think those clouds hide UFOs. And if a spaceship was shaped like today's rockets, they could be described as pillars. Again, the symbolism has to be in context of the times in which the material was written and the audience it was written for. So then we move to Moses receiving the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. If you look at this picture, you can see they're being handed to him. That could be a cloud, it could be a UFO, with this hand coming out and giving him the scroll that the 10 Commandments were on. God said that he, meaning God, would descend to the mountaintop on a particular day, and only Moses was allowed to go to the top of the mountain. And on that day there was much noise and smoke and flame and rumbling boulders. You can kind of see that depicted in this picture, which I think could be like a spaceship landing. And Moses was gone for 40 days, and he returned home with the 10 Commandments. The next is the story of Jacob's ladder. This depiction of it is a painting by Marc Chagall. He's one of my favorite artists. It's from Genesis 28. Jacob had stolen his brother Esau's inheritance, and he was fleeing. Understandably, he felt guilty and scared and unsure of his future. So while he was on his escape journey, he had a dream of a ladder reaching from the earth to the heaven and angels ascending and descending from above to the earth and back. God spoke to him in the dream and assured him that he would return and own his homeland. God said, "In thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed." Jacob's future sons became the fathers of the 12 tribes of Israel, and from them descended most of the Hebrew race. And next, we are sharing about Ezekiel's wheel, but the particular picture we're sharing has got Vishnu, who's one of the Hindu pantheon. This is from Ezekiel 1, when Ezekiel the prophet had a vision of this wheel in the sky, when God spoke to him and commissioned him as a prophet, and appointed him as a watchman over the Israelites. Now, scholars have noticed similarities with visions of Vishnu and Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. And though today we are focusing on our Judeo-Christian scriptures, please know that heavenly UAP appearances are also common in most of the world's religious scriptures. And then we look at Elijah's chariot of fire. It probably did not look just like this, and Elijah probably didn't look just like this either. It is believed that the prophet Elijah did not die. From 2 Kings chapter 2, we read that Elijah and his disciple Elisha were walking together having a conversation, when behold, a chariot of fire and horses of fire separated the two of them. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. Now, the next 3 slides are not taken from the Bible, but from religious paintings in the Middle Ages. And one wonders if the versions of these major events in Christianity that were told in works other than the Bible may have contained symbology that inspired these artists. This one is called the Annunciation, and it was painted by Carlo Crivelli in the 1400s. The word Annunciation means announcement. The Annunciation is the term used to describe the event when the angel Gabriel announced to the Virgin Mary that she would conceive of the Holy Spirit and give birth to Jesus. And so there's certain things in this painting I want to point out to you. We begin in the lower left-hand corner. You see these 2 beings on the sidewalk outside the building. Notice the one on the left has got wings. That is supposedly the angel Gabriel. Whenever you're wondering what angel did something, guess Gabriel. Gabriel did almost everything in the Bible. And then we look inside the building and we see Mary on her knees praying. And above her head is a line of light going up at a diagonal to an object in the sky, which is also the object in the insert, which looks kind of like a spaceship made out of clouds. And we see that beam coming out of Mary, or probably going into Mary, if this is the conception, the virgin conception. The light comes from the spaceship, and then right above Mary's head, if you look closely, is a dove. And in religious art, the dove is the symbol of the Holy Spirit. So it's a different rendition of the Annunciation. And I'm just wondering, I think I have time. While we're talking about the Virgin Mary, there's a couple of things and terms that I want to clarify for you. Several of them begin with A, wouldn't you know it? The Annunciation is the announcement when the angel Gabriel told her that she would conceive of Jesus from the Holy Spirit, and as a virgin would give birth to him. There is later in her life the Assumption. And the Assumption is at the end of, well, it's not even the end of her life, because kind of like Elijah, she went to heaven with her body. When it was time for her to leave, some say Jesus brought her up to heaven with her body, and that's how she left the earth. When Jesus left the earth, it's called the Ascension. When Mary left, it's called the Assumption. And if you were a student of Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of the Unity Movement, you would know that when Jesus ascended, he raised the vibrations of his molecules so high that he was no longer visible to 3D humans, and he really didn't go anywhere. He ascended to the next dimension, which is pretty much what we mean when we talk about Christ consciousness. And many of us believe the entire race is ascending to the next dimension. And I need to take the time for just one more thing. You've talked about the virgin birth. There's also a term called the Immaculate Conception, and people get this confused. But the Immaculate Conception was when Mary was conceived. And the reason it was immaculate is she is said to be the only human to be conceived without original sin. And it's not the virgin birth. That has to do when Jesus was conceived and born. And also, if you're new to Unity, please know that we interpret everything metaphysically and symbolically, and these pictures are just as fine an interpretation as any other, because I am not preaching Catholicism this morning. But you still need to know there's some truth in it. There is some truth in it. Our next slide is called Our Lady of the Flying Saucer. And it is a Madonna slide. The painter's unknown. It's in Florence and was painted in the 1500s. And the Madonna is with Jesus and St. John, those two little babies. The one with the halo is Jesus, and the other one's his cousin, John the Baptist. And if you look over the Virgin's shoulder, it's her left shoulder, but it would be to our right. There's an object in the sky, and it's in the insert too, a larger picture of it that looks like a flying object, a flying saucer. And then we have one more. And this painting is really something. It is actually a fresco. This is a fresco on the ceiling of a monastery in Serbia. It was painted in the 1300s, and it is the crucifixion with UFOs. And when you look at it in the very upper left-hand corner and the very upper right-hand corner, there are flying objects, two flying objects in the sky. And it even looks like they've got exhaust propelling them, although I don't know that spaceships need that, but planes use it that way. And then the inserts where these are enlarged, we see that these objects are manned, and the occupants are positioned as if they are using controls to fly them. This was in the 1300s. So in closing, let's see what's going to come up next. Okay, good. Folks who take the Bible literally and find comfort in the stories of Moses and Jesus and others may think that it is sacrilegious to speculate on these symbols. But I believe that the truth, big T truth, is never sacrilegious. I don't think we will be giving anything up by discovering a broader, richer history of the human race. And if we want to honor God, we will not settle for stories that were written in more primitive times. We will, with unswerving devotion, be open to a history that grows as our human understanding unfolds, knowing that we all are, have always been, and will always be the beloved children of an all-loving Creator. And thus ends the lesson. God bless you. And now we invite Faith to serenade us again.
Thank you, Rev Carla. So in the spirit of that expansion that Rev Carla shared with us, this is my song called Child of This Universe. I am a child of this universe. The ocean dances at my feet. The wind plays a melody through my hair. I am loved at every turn. I am kissed by Mother Earth. Yes, I am a child of this universe. The sun warms me in its embrace. The stars have a light for me in the sky. I am honored by all life. I am one with Father Time. Every blade of grass, every shaking leaf on a tree, every mountain top sings of the glory of God moving through me. Oh, yes, I am a child of this universe. Through my breath, all of life can breathe. I plant the seeds with my every dream. I can love at every turn. Give a kiss to Mother Earth, yes. Yes, I am a child of this universe. I greet the God in each face. I am the channel for peace to flow. Oh, I honor all of life. Yes, I'm one with Father Time. To every blade
Thank you, Faith. That was a perfect song. Thank you so much. So we're preparing to bless our love offering. And we thank you. We thank you for your support, knowing that it is because of your support that we can continue to offer the services that we do offer. We do take up a collection when we meet in person, but we always make it possible for you to make your gift online or website or using the buttons like we've got shown here on this slide, or you can mail us a check. And we do thank you. So let us share this beautiful affirmation aloud as we read it together. God is my source and nourishes me in every good and perfect way. God is my source and nourishes me in every good and perfect way. And now we invite Faith to lead us as we share our love offering blessing song.
Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all I receive, and all that I am. Divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all I receive, and all that I am. Freely, freely I have received, freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I have, all that I give and receive. Freely, freely I have received, freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I have, all that I give and receive, all that I give and receive.
All right. Thank you, Faith. We have some announcements to share this morning. The first is that our Tuesday evening class on transitions continues through September the 26th. It is at 6:30 on Zoom using the same link that you use for our services and our other activities. Our licensed Unity teacher, Lisa Lawson, is leading this class, and it is fabulous. I've heard this from the students, and I know it to be true. Then on Saturday, September the 23rd, is a Mufon Skywatch. It's at 6 p.m., meeting at 6 p.m. at Henningsen Lotus Park. Now, I invite you to go to the Mufon website or Facebook page or talk to Dev about it during our stay and chat to get more information or directions to it. One of these days, I really want to go and do a Skywatch. Saturday night's challenging for me because of Sunday morning comes so early. Next Sunday, we'll be meeting in person at the Sylvan Community Center, and we're always on Zoom, even when we meet in person. Lisa will be giving the talk, and it's called The Courage to Love. And our guest musician will be Christy Mattel. She's another one of our favorites, a local one. It's at 10 a.m. at the community center. Later that same day, we're having our autumn equinox celebration at Lightweavers. And the way this works is that Lightweavers will host a psychic and healing fair from noon to 5. They have many readers available if you want to partake of their services. And then at 5 o'clock, we move into ritual and ceremonial activities. I'm going to be leading the ceremony this time on Sunday. We're going to be sharing the recording of the witches who saved Britain from invasion. 3 different times they did. We're going to have a meditation, and we're going to have a ceremony that I'm calling Feathers of Love, in which everybody who comes gets to take a turkey feather or maybe a goose feather home with them. And we'll be using affirmations to release negativity and affirm good into our lives. Then I wanted to give you a sneak preview into October, because October the 8th, we're having Community Sunday, which we do occasionally with a potluck and a potlatch, which is a giveaway table. And what's so special about this one is that the teens from our YOU are going to be participating in the service. They'll be reading the daily word, doing some of the music, and a couple of other things. So it's a true community Sunday. We're also thinking for the potluck, we should bring food that will please teenage boys. And also when you gather things for the giveaway table for the potlatch, you might bear in mind what things would please these teens to find that somebody's giving to them for free. And so now we're inviting Faith to lead us all in singing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyful vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now for our prayer of protection. We know that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you all. Have a wonderful week.